guys and welcome to my channel. Today I got my friend Annika. She's gonna help me with my second video of Ansh Abroad. And the purpose of this video is because after I posted my first video about going in an internship in Tanzania, I got so many questions, about what I'm going to do there, how I got the internship, what kind of internship it is, and also questions about what education I'm in. What education I'm in, and what I've studied before, what I'm gonna study, my goals, my dreams, you know, everything. So I thought the best way to respond to all of your questions is to bring my inspiration woman, Annika, into this video and answer all of your questions. But before we start answering the questions that we received, I just wanted to tell you shortly about what I'm doing in Tanzania, because I think I haven't been very clear about that. And that has been on purpose, because I wanted to tell in the next video. And I am going on an internship with, it's a cooperation between UNA Sweden and UNA Tanzania, where UNA Sweden in Stockholm sends me to Tanzania to work with the global goals and to learn about how the association in Tanzania are working with these questions and other UN related issues. And one thing that is really important to know that I've got so many questions about, and I think it's important that I make it clear, is that UNA Sweden is not the UN. It is an association working with UN-related questions. It is a civil society organization working with UN-related questions. So it's not the UN per se, but how can I define that? The association works with the questions related to the UN, and by spreading information and holding lectures, seminars, internships, going to UN headquarters and learning there and stuff like that.
So it's kind of the link between the society and the UN, right?
Exactly what she said. Okay, so before we jump into the questions, I think maybe Annika should introduce herself a little bit, because she has done a lot of things and she's very impressive. So
okay,
so
the pressure is on.
Who are you?
My name is Annika, and I am originally from Germany, and I came to Sweden 6 years ago. And what have I been doing here? I've been working as I don't know if it's the English word for it as well, but au pair or nanny for a small baby. And after that I felt for staying in Sweden and worked 3 years in Stockholm, and after that I tried to apply for university studies. It gave me a lot of experience and self-confidence.
So you've been in Sweden 6 years, and
yes.
Through that time you worked as an au pair, a restaurant.
Yeah, waitress, restaurant manager.
And then you decided to apply for university studies.
Exactly, and I didn't really know what exactly to study, but I knew it would be something with human rights or like rights in general, so I applied for this. I think you did the same, like the extended introduction course in law.
Mm-hmm.
And after that I applied for the human rights program and have been studying 2 years with Ange, 3 years, something. And then I did my bachelor in human rights studies, and right now I'm doing a master's in European studies and some Russian.
She is studying Russian, guys.
Yes.
So I think Annika is really a person you should learn from, and we will get into that later. But as Annika said, we studied human rights bachelor together. She graduated before me because I went on exchange. So she graduated in June.
Yes.
And I am graduating now.
Exactly.
Good, then you know who Annika is. So let's get into the questions.
Yes.
Okay, you already answered this, but I think it's worth repeating.
Yes.
What did we study after high school?
Okay. Should I start?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, if I just like make a list, I studied Swedish to be able to study on a Swedish university. I studied French, I studied Russian, and I studied law, and then I studied human rights studies, and the European studies, what I'm doing now.
So first it was courses, and then a bachelor,
Exactly.
and now a master.
Yes.
Yeah. And I studied, after high school, I started studying the law extended
introduction in law.
Yeah, in Swedish it's giken or jöken. I don't know which one it was. And then after that I studied the criminology course. That was really fun, and that was at Malmö Högskola. And then I started my human rights bachelor program together with this girl. So now it's been 3 years and I'm graduating, and everything except for criminology I have been studying at Lund University.
Oh yeah, same here. Except for Russian, I've been studying everything at Lund, and Russian I'm doing in Malmö as well.
So what is human rights studies?
Well, I didn't really actually know when I was applying, because I just thought like, yeah, human rights, everyone should have human rights, so of course I wanted to learn more about it. But it's like an interdisciplinary study program which has a law perspective and philosophy perspective and historical and political perspectives on human rights, which makes it very broad. And for me that was perfect, because I didn't know in which direction I would want to go afterwards. So I mean, you can become a human rights lawyer if you're very ambitious, or you can become a politician or someone working for the Lunds kommun, and yeah, basically you can work with human resources with a human rights perspective. I don't know, you can basically do a lot of things.
NGOs, everything.
Exactly, and I think
EU.
Yes,
The
exactly.
UN.
The UN, the EU, the courts, the international courts, and I think, yeah, the courses we've had was like some Swedish laws related to human rights. We had international law related to human rights, and then we had like historical perspectives on human rights, like the revolution in Iran, and yeah, so.
And philosophical perspective as well.
Oh yeah, Plato.
Yeah. So it's really broad. What I love most about human rights, and I think Annika feels the same, and maybe that's why we are going the same path, is international law. And I think you feel the same, and I liked it so much that I chose to study international law abroad. I forgot to say that. I studied in Holland for a semester, and there I studied international law mostly. So most of the questions that we got are about internships, and mostly related to embassies and the UN and UNA. Also advice on how to apply, also what they expect. In our program in human rights, we need to have one internship for one semester. So Annika did it in Stockholm, where she interned at the German embassy. So I just thought maybe you could tell about the process when applying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's very different from the Swedish embassies, but in Germany at least, the embassies, since it is a state agency, they have online application forms. So you're not really writing your own CV or letter of motivation, but you create an account on the foreign minister's website, and there you fill in like your language skills, why you want to be at the embassy, what your your like previous educational merits and working experience are, computer skills and stuff, all these kinds, and then you choose, and I think it's the same in Sweden, you choose 5 top embassies where you, as like 5 priorities of countries where you would like to be. Like I chose Oslo, Copenhagen and Stockholm, and then Moscow and the consulate, what is it called in Yeah,
You can say it in Swedish.
yeah, or like a smaller embassy office in St. Petersburg. What you should think of when applying or choosing your priorities, that you choose countries where you maybe have a connection to, like you are able to speak the language, or you can motivate that you know the country from traveling, and because they're really looking for people being fluent in English, and hopefully also ideally the language, the local language. For me that was Swedish, so they said like you are the perfect candidate because you are fluent in Swedish and German. And actually what I did later at the embassy was a lot of translating. So if you get language skills from whatever country, you should really stress that and choose if you want to like maximize your chances, I think. Yeah.
Very good point with the languages.
Yeah, and also one thing, even if it's just forms you fill out, I would recommend if that you write your motivations and stuff on a separate document and then just copy paste it, because sometimes you can like, oh, now I sent it. So it's better to have like a thing ready which you copy paste, which someone like corrected before to look after the grammar and stuff. So it's not a good idea to just sit there and fill out the forms and send it, I think.
How was your interview? Was the interview in English? Or German or Swedish?
No, because I have
Russia.
Chinese. No, I haven't had an interview because I think that's a Swedish thing. Because in Germany it was enough to have. I had a quite long application. Okay. I had to write an essay and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, no, wow.
Like in English. And
I was like, no.
Yeah. But
wow.
But you had the interview, so maybe more interesting if you.
Yeah, because that's very special. I think that's very non-Swedish to have that long applications. I think.
Yeah, that's very German.
And I was like, that's very non-Swedish. But yeah, so
true though.
I did have an interview with 2 embassies as well, and it was the Swedish embassy in Uganda and in Zambia. So I think the application is maybe the same as you, like on the webpage, on the Swedish Foreign Ministry page. UD. Advice number 1: subscribe on their page. Go in there right now, pause this video, go in there right now, subscribe on their, like, how do you call it? Their vacancies, no?
Yeah. I also, you just like write your email and then you get the updates from the empty spots.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as they put up an internship or a job, anything, you will get an email saying, the UD, the Swedish Foreign Ministry, is applying for this and that and this and that. So that's the perfect, because you will see that immediately, and then you can go in as soon as they get it, because deadlines are hard to reach when you're studying, working, everything. So do that, and then hopefully you'll get a call back. And my interviews were in English, so I prepared for them as well. Of course, I prepared by writing down what I'm gonna say, what I think they're gonna ask. I prepared by asking someone who has done an internship at an embassy, asking another girl in our class who has done the same. And then the interview was on the phone. On the phone versus when you have an interview face to face. Like, what things are missing on the phone now that I need to compensate for, So what things are missing now that I need to compensate for? Because there's a difference between having an interview like this and on the phone.
Because
you need to
can
show.
play with your charm.
You
cannot. Exactly what you not do. but yeah, I get your point. You have to be even more like motivate your case.
Exactly. Maybe you can tell about how it is to actually be an intern at an embassy.
Yeah, I think it's quite alike being an intern at any government municipality, but for me it was actually more fun than I thought. It's like in the most embassies, and I know it's kind of the same in Sweden because I talk to Swedish interns as well, and it's like you are being assigned to a certain department at the embassy, and they are often distributed into political department, culture and press department, economic department, and military department. And I was at the press and culture department, but since press and culture in Sweden at least, or the German press and culture department is not as busy, I also went to all the other responsible persons for the other departments and asked them if I could help. So for me this was very nice that I could do that, because in the end I worked for all the departments. But that was my own initiative. That was nothing like they offered explicitly. So I think you have more freedoms than you think if you only go for it. And I think most of the time you will be allowed to do it. For example, in Stockholm they have a lot of lectures and seminars where they send their interns and you maybe also did that in your internship, send them to and then want you to report back to the office. And for me it was also like I did my own research looking for nice lectures and then asked like, I think this is relevant for the embassy, can I go? And then they were like, of course I will contact them and book a place for you. And so I really found it was fun and it was diverse, but I think it's also what you make it. So if you just sit there passively, then probably, you do what they want you to do. But if you also ask for stuff, then it can be really exciting. And what I did there was writing reports, like as I just said, from lectures, small like, reports from the lectures and seminars. And then I did the news review every morning, like screening through the Swedish newspapers, looking for German relevant questions, translating it into small German small oversights over the topics, and then sending it to the headquarters in Berlin. And then I did like all the communications with cultural events or collaborations they were doing, like a Stockholm music or film festival where some German artists were invited, or an architect from Germany did a project in Sweden, so we invited him, and I did the having the contact to the persons. And for the political department I did some reports on Swedish weapon exports, and then I had, for the economic department, I did a bigger report on Chinese investments in Sweden. So, no, but that's really cool stuff, I think. That was nothing like, which was on my job description, but that was when I went down to the head of economics and was like, I have some free time and I would like to help you if you have some stuff for me. So that's also how you get things. And you can also, it's always good to seize the opportunity to network when you are on your internship. So that was also what I tried to do, even if it's not that fun. But go to the events, to the lectures and seminars and talk to people. And
that is very smart to network while you do that, because you'll meet people working with things you probably want to work with in the future, and people you won't meet at ICA.
Yeah, exactly.
So network. I even went so far. I did an internship in Stockholm at UNA Sweden. I'm gonna tell about that in another video, because that video is gonna be about UNA Tanzania, what I'm gonna do there, and what videos you can expect. But that we will take in another video. But what I wanna say is, while I was living in Stockholm, because in Sweden Stockholm is the center of everything. I went to the lectures. I even went to like a thing where the king and the queen was, you know?
Wow.
I went there with my friend, shout out Johanna. We did that. And what I did in Stockholm, this is so silly, but also I'm very proud of myself, because I'm very proud of myself. No, but I made a card. I have it here somewhere. I made a card.
With your...
contact card.
Wow.
So I have my little face there. I'm like... So, a really professional card. I ordered them. It costed like 100 kronas. I ordered so many cards. I have so many. and there it says Jane Ange Muzukura, and then it says human rights student, and then activist, and then it says author. And I did this. And like, okay, maybe it's silly, but maybe one person will be like, this girl, and then,
of course,
you know.
And even if no one does, it's a good. No, but I mean, even if no one does it, it's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Because like later you will have to do these kinds of cards.
Exactly.
So
now I know how to do it. When you do stuff like that, also mentally, it means you're believing in yourself in a way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
So that's how you get somewhere, even if you never hand them out.
I think it's a lot about that, like aim high, don't be shy.
Oh, aim high, don't be shy.
So cheesy, but it's true. Like, don't be afraid of failure, because you will receive a lot of no, sorry, we don't need an intern, or you are not fulfilling the requirements and stuff like that. But that's so normal. And if you want to make it, then you just have to continue doing it. Don't be a quitter.
And we're not saying, oh my god, we made it. That's not what we're saying. We just
got an internship, basically.
When I was a first year student, or even after high school, I was so confused.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would ever sit and talk to anyone on an embassy. I wouldn't think I was going to be offered a spot on an embassy. That's crazy. Yeah, I never thought that. But it's so much more easy than you think.
But also just because you actually dare to apply, because there are a lot of people, I think also in our class, they did not even do it because they were like, no, I won't even get it. Yeah, because then you of course don't get it. So
yeah, that is true. And also, I think very important is to find people that inspire you. This lady inspires me. So find people who you can ask. Like, I went up to Annika and I was like asking things, and I didn't things that she knows, I now know because I asked her. How else would I have known that? You have to ask someone who has done exactly the same thing. And a lot of you who wrote to me, that is the first step, and that is such a step in the right direction. You're already there, kind of, because you asked me, how did you do that?
Yeah. It starts with a thought.
You were becoming so poetic. But it's true. It's true.
It starts with it. Yeah.
Yeah. How else are you gonna know? You can't lie in your bed and be like, I didn't get it, but you didn't ask how to get it. How are you gonna know how to get it? And I go to Lund University and I Google. I'm like, stipendiums. How do you do this? Yeah, it starts with a thought, and it's really important to create a relation between your teachers. Ask them after class, what can I do? I want to do this. The first day, introduce yourself. Hey, I'm this. I want to be there. How can I?
I am this. I want to be that.
How can I be there?
Yes.
What have you worked with? What countries? What can you recommend? Can you be my reference? I went into my teacher's office. I don't know. It was a year ago, and I was like, hey, I want to apply for ICJ, International Court of Justice. Can you be my reference? I didn't think he was gonna say, of course, and I'm so sure you're gonna get it. I was like, what? No, I didn't get it. But that was my first step to acknowledging, what he wrote in my reference letter really showed that, oh God, I'm actually someone who can do something somewhere.
True.
And we sat for an hour and spoke about things, and he gave me ideas about things that I never thought about, and that today is very valuable for me, and that I'm now telling you. And he said one thing that really stuck to my head. He said, when there is an occasion, when someone needs something, or when you just need it, or you can see that you can help someone, be like, hey, I can do that. Hey, I can do this. I can do this. Also at internships, hey, I can do that. I can do that. Because then next time someone will be needing to go to Paris, they will be like, oh, hey, Ansh, can you do that? Because you're always so eager. They will choose you because you're always like, hey, I can do that. I'm available. Join the faculty. You're a faculty member, I guess.
Or student council.
Student council.
Yeah. Yes.
Join stuff like that so that I'm here. Your name will be highest up on the list. We're basically the face of Lund University.
Because we just said, we can do it.
We can do that. We're raising our hands. Raise your hand. Hello. Raise your hand. Be available. Be the person who is highest on the list when someone needs something. That will take you places. Okay. And we also got a lot of questions saying what education is preferred for embassy jobs. What courses should I take? Should I do human rights? Should I do political science? I'm studying social studies in gymnasium, high school. Is that enough for coming into a university study that can get me to work at the UN? It's really hard to say this exact study is preferred, right?
Yeah. It's really hard.
It is what you make it.
Yeah, and it's like pros and cons with everything. I think political science is what most of the embassies like. It's what most of the people in the embassies have done. But on the other hand, if you study political science, you are one of 300 who is applying for internships at the embassies. If you study human rights, we were like 16 people in our course. So you are one of
at the end, not in the beginning.
Yeah, okay. But the people applying for internships, I think were like maybe 20.
Yeah.
And not every one of them did apply for the embassy jobs because human rights is much broader. Many applied for NGOs and stuff. So I think we had better chances in that way because we were kind of that sounds cheesy, but unique in a way.
Unique, yeah, for sure.
So it can be both.
I like political science as well, but like Annika says, a lot of people study that. So what I could recommend if you study political science is to find something, like there's an optional course, right? And find something that maybe makes you stand out a little bit. So when you're applying, press on that thing, I don't know how you say, emphasize that thing that makes you unique among all the other candidates. Because it's true, a lot of people study political science because it's fun, so I don't blame them. But
find something extra.
Exactly, go on exchange. That is so fun, valuable. When you go on exchange, choose courses that you will use. Don't go to only have fun. Have fun too. But choose courses that it's gonna be like, I studied in Utrecht this specific course because of this specific reason. Again, motivation. Be able to motivate your choices all the time.
Yeah, you have to have a red line.
Yeah, exactly, a red line. Don't be like, well, I studied banana knowledge. Banana knowledge.
Oh my god.
There's a banana there. When I was interviewing for embassies in Zambia and Uganda, actually when I said I was a human rights student, they were impressed because they were like, oh, we need that human rights based approach.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of people knows that approach.
Especially like state organizations start to emphasize this approach more and more. So yeah.
And the tips advice is to go on the applications. You guys who haven't started university, see what kind of educations, because normally they write like preferred educations, this and this and this and that. Try a basic course in that.
Yeah.
Don't need to take the whole program. Try a basic course, see where that goes.
Yeah.
Try things out.
I mean,
it's still a course that will be valuable.
Yeah, and all the embassies, like almost every time, are looking for social sciences, political science, international relations, law, economics, or related.
Yeah, or related, and that's us, human rights.
That's us.
One more thing. We're gonna finish this video, and I'm just gonna tell you in the next video I'll be talking more about the internship that I'm doing. I'm leaving in February, and I will be home in June. Yeah, so I'm gonna talk about the UNA internship in the next video. So if you have any questions about that, and I will link Annika's Instagram because she is very competent. So any questions, deeper questions, concrete questions, please ask her.
Bring them on.
And she has really beautiful pictures on her Instagram. She's a very talented photographer. And yeah. Thank you for watching. And subscribe, like, comment, everything. Bye.